The story begins with a married couple, Li Fang and Ji Hong, who are both archaeologists. They set out on an expedition with their team to a mountain in search of ancient artifacts hidden within a cave. After a long and arduous journey, the team finally stumbles upon a mysterious temple guarded by statues of snakes. Inside the temple, Ji Hong discovers a peculiar ring attached to one of the snake statues. When she turns the ring, all the snake statues around them spring to life, and a massive statue of the Dragon Zoo emerges from above the temple. Their photographer rushes to capture this incredible sight and notices a mirror covering the left eye of the dragon statue. As the photographer climbs to get a better shot, Ji Hong warns him not to gaze into the mirror, but he disregards her caution. Suddenly, a blue flame erupts from the mirror, engulfing the photographer in its fiery grip. Li Fang attempts to rescue him, but the Dragon Zoo statue also comes to life, spewing flames and forcing everyone to dodge the attack. Meanwhile, the snake statues awaken and begin to attack the archaeologists. Amidst the chaos, Ji Hong takes hold of the mirror again to protect herself, and Li Fang follows her. Surrounded by the menacing snakes, Li Fang makes a desperate attempt to save the ancient artifact by tossing the mirror toward Jungo. However, Kungu fails to catch it, and the mirror fell into the abyss within the temple. Jungo manages to escape the temple, becoming the sole survivor of this harrowing incident. After the tragic expedition that resulted in the loss of many lives, Li Fang and Ji Hong, who had led the expedition, found themselves held responsible for their team's deaths. Their son, Li Sung, also bore the brunt of this accident, facing isolation and rejection from society. As he grew older, Li Sung resolved to clear his parents' names and find evidence of their innocence. When he reached adulthood, Li Sung embarked on a quest to uncover the truth about his parents' final expedition. His journey led him to Jungo, who had ended up in a mental hospital. In a moment of urgency, Jungu warned Li Sung against searching for the cursed Kunlun mirror. However, their conversation was abruptly interrupted when the police arrived to arrest Li Sung and his friend, Yu Dae-soo, for trespassing in the mental hospital. Dae-soo attempted to block the door to prevent the police from entering, while Li Sung persisted in questioning Jungo. Despite their efforts, the police managed to enter the room and apprehend both Li Sung and Dae-soo. Sometime later, Li Sung and Dae-soo were released thanks to the help of their friend, Liu Yao. Li Sung confided in Liu Yao about his encounter with Jungo and his suspicion that the Kunlun mirror might have ended up in the river near Qian village. He invited Liu Yao to join him and Dae-soo in their plan to visit the village and search for the mirror's whereabouts. To express his gratitude for her assistance in securing their release, Li Sung also invited Liu Yao to a dinner. That evening, the three of them were busy preparing dinner, and as Liu Yao got ready, Dae-soo encouraged Li Sung to share his feelings with her. He knew that Li Sung had secretly harbored a crush on Liu Yao for a long time, but Li Sung felt hesitant, especially since he has been friends with her since childhood. On the other hand, Liu Yao was organizing scattered papers at Li Sung's house when she stumbled upon a letter originating from Wuxi village. She immediately showed it to Li Sung, and they were surprised to learn that Wuxi village was situated right next to Qian village. The letter contained a photo of the Kunlun mirror and an image of Li Sung's parents' archaeological research team. The sender of the letter appealed to the descendants of Li Fang and Ji Hong to recover the ancient mirror from Wuxi village. Upon reading the letter, Li Sung grew resolute in his determination to locate the Kunlun mirror. He believed that doing so would help clear his parents' names of the accusations regarding the tragic fate of the archaeological expedition team. Dae-soo agreed to assist Li Sung in his quest, at least until his mother intervened and insisted that he return home. Dae-soo, aware of his mother's insult for Li Sung, who was often perceived as the son of a murderer, obeyed her request. After Dae-soo's departure, Li Sung turned to Liu Yao for help in purchasing a bus ticket to Wuxi village. Curious about Li Sung's feelings toward her, she asks if he likes her. However, Li Sung remained silent, leaving Liu Yao feeling disappointed. She asserted that she would not involve herself in his problems, including his mission to find the Kunlun mirror. The following day, Li Sung and Dae-soo boarded a bus headed for Wuxi village. After a lengthy journey, they arrived in the village under the cover of darkness. Both of them found the eerie silence of the village strange, considering its propensity for flooding. Oddly enough, there had been no floods since the discovery of the ancient mirror during Li Sung's parents' expedition. This led the villagers to believe that the Kunlun mirror was somehow protecting their village. Returning to Li Sung and Dae Su, they continued to wander through the village's streets until they stumbled upon a temple. Inside, they discovered a room filled with red cloth, serving as the storage place for the Kunlun mirror. Li Sung had a strong desire to take the mirror, but Dae Su urged caution. He reminded his friend that they should seek permission from the villagers because the mirror was believed to have a connection with the supernatural world. However, Li Sung does not listen to his friend and takes the Kunlun mirror. Meanwhile, the villagers had gathered around the temple, convinced that Li Sung and Dae Su were attempting to steal their village's ancient treasure. To avoid the wrath of the enraged villagers, the two friends fled into the forest, but they soon found themselves surrounded. Just when things seemed dire, Lu Yao arrived in her car, coming to the rescue of her friends. Initially, her car had trouble starting after colliding with a tree, leaving the trio trapped by the villagers. However, she eventually managed to restart her vehicle and escape. Unfortunately, they faced yet another confrontation with some villagers, and in a moment of frustration, Lu Yao veered off the road and into a ravine. Unbeknownst to them, the Kunlun mirror, held by Dae Su in the back seat, began to emit a mysterious glow. After some time, the three friends regained consciousness in a peculiar cave, remarkably unharmed despite the car's plunge into the ravine. Dae Su then informed his friends that the ancient mirror he had been safeguarding was now missing. This revelation angered Li Sung, who blamed Dae Su for not protecting the mirror properly. Exiting the car, Li Sung questioned Lu Yao about her unexpected rescue mission, considering she had earlier expressed her reluctance to get involved in their problems. Lu Yao clarified that her motivation was not Li Sung, but rather her desire to restore his parents' tarnished reputation. Not long after, Li Sung grew restless and decided to light a cigarette. His boredom was shattered when a massive snake suddenly appeared before him, sending him scrambling back into the safety of the car. The snake then flipped Lu Yao's car over, forcing Li Sung to emerge once more. Just as the snake was about to strike at him, Lei Li and Fang Xing arrived in the nick of time to rescue him. The snake effortlessly flung Lei Li, who collided with a stone pillar, and attacked Fang Xing with its scales. Another warrior, Bai Link, rushed to their aid, using his Kai energy to subdue the snake before finally piercing it with his spear. Injured and on the brink of death, the snake transformed into a woman named Hong Yang. In her final moments, she issued a dire warning that everyone in the cave would soon meet their end. Bai Link then introduced himself and his two companions to Li Sung and the others, revealing that they were disciples of Master Jinghe. Without delay, Lei Li and Fang Xing proceeded to destroy all of Li Sung and his friends' belongings, claiming that these items could potentially lead the Fire Dragon or Dragon Zoo to their whereabouts. Bai Link further explained that Li Sung and his companions had gained access to the supernatural world when they briefly possessed the Kunlun mirror. Their master had instructed Bai Link to retrieve Li Sung and the others, so without further ado, Bai Link used his Kai energy to create a portal to another location. Upon their arrival in Kungu village, Bai Link recounted the tale of the Fire Dragon, who considered himself the most powerful deity and had wreaked havoc, leading to his imprisonment in Chunyang Palace. The only object capable of liberating the Fire Dragon from the palace was the Kunlun mirror. In the cave where Li Sung and his friends had faced Hong Yang's attack, the Fire Dragon's son, Fire Serpent, stumbled upon Li Sung's discarded cigarette. Ingeniously, Fire Serpent used it to trace their whereabouts. He'd also managed to revive Hong Yang. Meanwhile, in Kungu village, Bai Link guided Li Sung and his companions to the temple of Master Jinghe. They were astounded to find the mummified form of their master, Jinghai. Lei Li explained that Jinghai had been living as a spirit. As history had it, their master had borrowed the power of an ancient god to extract the right eye of the Fire Dragon, which was the Kunlun mirror, putting the dragon into an eternal sleep. Unfortunately, the Kunlun mirror had vanished, and Bai Ling mentioned that if Li Sung wished to discover its whereabouts, he could consult Jing Hai's spirit. With their Kai energy, Bai Ling and his fellow disciples opened the temple's secret door. As Li Sung and his friends entered the room, they encountered a massive chained statue that suddenly sprang to life after the secret door closed. In a panic, they faced the statue's relentless attack, including its enormous hammer. Despite the odds, they persevered and collaborated to defeat the statue. Bai Ling and the others, observing an incense burner lit outside the secret room, recognized that Li Sung and his friends were still alive. Bai Ling clarified that if Li Sung and his companions could endure and harness Kai energy from Jing Hai, they were the foretold heroes of Kungu village. Inside the secret room, Su and Lu Yao fell victim to the statue's assault, eventually losing consciousness. At the brink of being struck by the statue's colossal hammer, Lu Yao, now imbued with Kungu strength, regained consciousness and saved Li Sung while shattering the statue into pieces. Su also tapped into this new ki strength, allowing him to collect the statue's fragments. Shortly after that, they heard a voice coming from the fragments of the shattered statue. It revealed that the fire dragon had located Jing Hai's temple, and a predicted disaster was on the horizon. Simultaneously, the spirit of Jing Hai emerged from within the broken pieces of the statue. He informed Li Sung and his companions that he had once foretold the coming of heroes who would save Kungu village from impending doom. Now meeting Li Sung and his two friends, he recognized them as the heroes destined to protect the village. Jing Hai then implored the trio to aid the village against the threat of the fire dragon. Initially, Li Sung hesitated, particularly since his main goal had been to find the Kunlun mirror and return home with his friends. Observing Li Sung's selfishness, Jing Hai recalled his fellow disciple who had stolen the Kunlun mirror while he and the villagers of Kungu had faced the fire dragon in the past. Upon learning that the mirror he sought was in the possession of Jing Hai's fellow disciple, Li Sung changed his mind and agreed to help Kungu village if Jing Hai would reveal the location of his fellow disciple. Jing Hai disclosed that his fellow disciple resided behind Thunder Marsh. Not long after leaving the temple, they were welcomed by the villagers, who hoped that Li Sung and his companions would assist them in their battle against the fire dragon. Unfortunately, Li Sung fabricated a story, claiming that Jing Hai had not asked them to protect the village, but had tasked Bai Ling with taking Li Sung and his friends to Thunder Marsh to retrieve the Kunlun mirror. While the villagers seemed skeptical of Li Sung's statement, Bai Ling intervened by expressing his trust in Jing Hai's words and urged Li Sung and his companions to prepare for their mission. Meanwhile, Fire Serpent and Hong Yang were working to dismantle the protective shield guarding Kungu village. In the village, Su questioned Li Sung about why he had lied to the villagers, feeling that they should protect Kungu village since they had gained Kui strength from Jing Hai. Li Sung explained that everything they had experienced felt like a dream and would eventually end, so there was no need for them to get involved with the villagers. However, Su insisted on helping, but Lu Yao suggested that he should focus on assisting Li Sung in finding the Kunlun mirror. Su reluctantly agreed and left with his two friends. After they got ready, Bai Ling asked Fang Xing and Lei Li to accompany Li Sung and his friends to Thunder Marsh, and they all departed using a portal. Meanwhile, Bai Ling prepared the villagers to face the Fire Serpent and Hong Yang, who were approaching the village. Shortly afterward, Bai Ling signaled the villagers to attack, leading to a fierce battle between the people of Kungu village and the formidable Fire Serpent and Hong Yang, who swiftly overpowered and slaughtered the villagers. At the same time, Su and Lu Yao sensed the intense struggle that the villagers were facing against the Fire Serpent and Hong Yang. Fang Xing, aware of their connection to the villagers' key powers, explained that the strength they had acquired linked them to the ki of the villagers, enabling Su and Lu Yao to feel the events happening in Kungu village. Fang Xing also elaborated on the Fire Serpent's desire to eliminate all the villagers' key powers, as doing so would enable him to awaken the imprisoned Dragon Zoo from its long sleep, leading to a catastrophic disaster in their world. In Chunyang Palace, a significant event unfolded as the hand-shaped statues, each holding fire, began to extinguish one by one. This coincided with the loss of the key power that had been sealing Dragon Zoo, as the people of Kungu village, who possessed this power, had died in the battle against the fire serpent and Han Young. Tragically, Bai Link also met his demise at the hands of the relentless fire serpent, who had now annihilated every inhabitant of the village. Back with Su, who was burdened by guilt for leaving the village, he persistently urged Li Song to return to Kungu village. He emphasized that they had gained strength and made a promise to Jinghai to protect the village. Lei Li, who overheard this conversation, finally realized that Li Song had lied to the villagers. He was so enraged that he nearly attacked Li Song. At that moment, Li Song admitted that he didn't possess key power like Su and Lu Yao. This revelation left Lei Li and Fang Xing suspicious, making them doubt that Li Song and his friends were the prophesied heroes. Consequently, they decided to escort Li Song and his friends to Thunder Marsh for their return to the human world. As they approached Thunder Marsh, Lei Li and Fang Xing explained the significance of the Jing forest located at the marsh's edge. It was the birthplace of the mighty ancient god Fu Qi and held such power that even Dragon Zoo could not enter it. Lei Li also cautioned Li Song and his friends not to look back, as doing so would risk being struck by lightning and killed. Shortly after, Han Young emerged from the surroundings and launched an attack on the group. Just as Han Young, now in the form of a massive snake, prepared to strike Li Song, Lu Yao courageously intervened, albeit at the cost of being thrown into Thunder Marsh herself. Fang Xing then urged Su and Li Song to swiftly enter the marsh to protect themselves and preserve Su's key power. Meanwhile, she and Lei Li would confront Han Young. Unfortunately, Han Young had grown even more formidable, overpowering Fang Xing and Lei Li in their battle. The serpent then immediately pursued Li Song and the others. Su, determined to guide his friends to safety, climbed a tree to direct them away from Han Young's attacks. However, the serpent swiftly lashed out its tail, striking Su and sending him tumbling. In a twist of fate, this led to a lightning bolt striking nearby. Su harnessed his newfound power to shield his friends from the lightning's fury, allowing them to cross the marsh unscathed. Su then faced off against Han Young, driving his sword into the serpent's head and directing it towards the sky to attract a bolt of lightning. The lightning struck, resulting in both Su and Han Young shattering into pieces. Meanwhile, Li Song remained convinced that he was trapped in a dream and was determined to find the Kunlun mirror to return to the real world with his friends. When Lu Yao discovered the mirror and offered it to Li Song, she tried to persuade him that they were in a real and dangerous situation, not a dream. However, Li Song persisted in his belief that it was all a dream. Frustrated, Lu Yao thought Li Song was being selfish, preventing him from gaining key power from Jinghai, and reminded him of their duty to help the people of Kungu village. Hearing Lu Yao's words, Li Song reassured her that he would find a way to bring them back to the real world. He asked her to hold his hand, but then a figure resembling Li Song appeared in the middle of the marsh, crying for help. Li Song, who was with Lu Yao, warned her that it was a trap. Confused, Lu Yao asked both Li Song figures about their feelings for her. The Li Song figure next to her remained silent, while the one in Thunder Marsh professed his deep love for her. Hearing this, Lu Yao rushed towards the marsh to save the Li Song figure, believing it to be the real one. However, it was a cunning disguise by the fire serpent. As she entered Thunder Marsh, Lu Yao tragically lost her life due to a lightning strike. Meanwhile, the fire serpent turned his attention to Li Song, but chose not to kill him, as Li Song lacked key power. Instead, the fire dragon ordered Li Song to promptly bring the Kunlun mirror to Chunyang Palace. The fire serpent then arrived at Chunyang Palace, where a single flame still burned, representing him. To awaken his father, the fire serpent took drastic measures to extinguish this last remaining flame. Turning to Li Song, who had just regained consciousness after being attacked by the fire serpent, he found an elderly man named Lu Lei observing him. Li Song blamed Lu Lei for not assisting him and his friends, but Lu Lei, in turn, blamed Li Sung for choosing to go to Thunder Marsh instead of helping the people of Kungu village. Lu Lei then gave the Kunlun mirror to Li Sung, giving him the choice to return to the real world or stay behind to help his friends and Kungu village by confronting the fire dragon. Lu Lei admitted that he had made a similar selfish choice in the past by hiding in Thunder Marsh to avoid facing the fire dragon. However, this decision left him isolated and bored. Li Sung, not wanting to lead a life like Lu Lei, decided to challenge the fire dragon in Chunyang Palace and sacrifice himself for his friends who had already perished. Upon arriving at Chunyang Palace, the fire dragon welcomed him by assuming a human form. The fire dragon requested the Kunlun mirror from Li Sung to secure his release from the palace. Li Sung agreed to hand over the mirror on the condition that the fire dragon would resurrect all the villagers who had died in Kungu village. However, the fire dragon declined, as doing so would result in his re-imprisonment. Failing to reach an agreement, Li Sung walked away from the palace. In a fit of rage, the fire dragon unleashed fire towards Li Sung, who skillfully used the Kunlun mirror to deflect the attack until the mirror shattered, as Li Sung had planned. Realizing that he would remain imprisoned in the palace forever, the furious fire dragon resolved to kill Li Sung. Back at Thunder Marsh, a lightning strike hit a pond, and Lu Lei rushed to the scene. To everyone's surprise, Li Sung emerged from the pond unharmed, having gained key power from the ancient god Fuqi, which allowed him to come back to life. With this newfound strength, Li Sung decided to return to Chunyang Palace to confront the fire dragon, even though it meant he would have to sacrifice himself and be reborn in the pond. Lu Lei also taught Li Sung martial arts to prepare him for the battle. Over the years, Li Sung faced the fire dragon repeatedly, aging as time passed, and Lu Lei eventually passed away. With his remaining strength, Li Sung returned to Chunyang Palace to confront the fire dragon once more. Unexpectedly, his rapidly developed martial arts skills allowed him to evade the dragon's attacks and fight back, ultimately defeating the fire dragon. This victory was signified by all the flames on the palm-shaped statues being ignited, indicating that the people of Kungu village had been revived. Shortly after, Li Sung encountered the figures of his parents and asked them to return home with him. However, they both declined, and his mother, Ji Hong, gave him a bracelet, instructing him to meet his friends who had been waiting for him. In the final scene of the film, Li Sung woke up inside a car, surrounded by medical professionals coming to rescue him and his injured friends after their car, driven by Liu Yao, had fallen into a ravine. Strangely, Li Sung was wearing the bracelet given to him by his mother in the dream. Sometime later, Li Sung and his two recovered friends met the letter writer, who turned out to be the daughter of the expedition guide who had worked with Li Sung's parents in the past. She explained that she had sent the letter to Li Sung, asking him to retrieve the Kunlun mirror from the village because she disliked seeing the villagers worshipping the mirror. She also handed over a camera that had been used by Li Sung's parents during their expedition and managed to persuade the people of Wuxi village to allow Li Sung to borrow the mirror temporarily. Moral lesson from the story: when you meet a fire dragon, don't forget to bring a Kunlun mirror. Maybe it can be used to seal the fire dragon and save a friend who fell into the abyss.